I was thinking this gospel about giving to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and to God what belongs to God is as pertinent and as modern as our morning newspaper today. I'm not real proud of this, but I'm sort of an expert on the way a Christian should relate to government, give to Caesar. See, I'm from Dixon, Illinois, and our city manager there, Rita Cranwell, over a period of 20 plus years, embezzled $53 million from Dixon, Illinois. I don't know if you followed that story or not. So I had a great lesson on how not to be a good citizen. It was very, very clear. But what is the right relationship of a Christian to the state, to government? Jesus is talking about it. It's a very, very important question. First of all, we don't want to run countries as a church. Actually, we tried that a little bit in the Middle Ages, and it did not work out well at all. We don't want to do that. Pope Benedict had a wonderful, famous lecture in Regensburg, Germany, a few years ago. He made this very clear. He said the proper role of the Catholic Church is not to be in charge of countries. But that doesn't mean that there's no place for faithful citizens in the civic life of their nation. Quite the opposite. We encourage people of faith to get involved in politics and in government of the local, state, and national level. And we encourage those people to bring their faith values to that service in order to make this world a better place in God's eyes. I think of my cousin John. He was elected 10 years ago or so as county treasurer in Dixon. He's doing a conscientious, great job in that position. I'm so proud of him. You might say he's bringing the values of his faith to the position of county treasurer. I think of so many wonderful parishioners from St. Thomas, too many to name really, involved in local and state government, and of the incredible job that they have done and that they are doing. I'm so proud of them, and I thank God for them. We clearly need people of integrity and godly values serving us at every level of our government. It also has to be admitted that there are some Catholic politicians who do a terrible job in their public service, splitting off their faith from their votes and their policy decisions. And I would say at the same time confusing other Catholics, so they come to think, it must be okay for a Catholic to be in favor of abortion or in favor of euthanasia because this Catholic politician or that Catholic politician voted for it. Of course, that's not true at all. I think our nation has seen a very sad mutation the last 40 or 50 years over the issue of how is a Catholic to serve politically in our nation. Our country is founded, it's true, on the idea of the public square. Think of a village with a public square. Everybody comes into the public square. All opinions, all values, all points of view can be brought. But the past, I would say at least 10 to 15 years, we've seen increased pressure on Christians not to be part of the public square. They're calling it the naked public square. In other words, we don't want anybody with values to be part of this discussion. Keep their opinions to themselves. Increasingly, many figures in our government are defining religious freedom as you can do anything you want inside your church doors. Just don't bring it outside the church doors. Which, of course, we can never yield to that pressure. It's a totally false vision of the role of religion in the polity, the political life of the nation. Finally, let's go back to Caesar and God. It is true that ultimately everything belongs to God, even Caesar. Caesar may or may not know it, but he belongs to God too. Everyone, even Caesar, is created by God and bears the image and likeness of God on his soul. Everything bears that image. Plants, animals, the stars, the oceans, and especially all the people on earth. The human soul is made for God. We belong to God. And that means that the deepest values that are most natural to us will be God's values. We call that the natural law. And there are people today, I would call them radical, but anyway, they say there's no such thing as a natural law. But clearly there is. You and I all experience a consonance, a lineup in our hearts when we're obeying that law of God within us. It all clicks in. Oh yeah, this is right. I'm in the right place here. Ultimately, to say we all bear the image and likeness of God also means that we're kindred spirits with every human being, because we're all stamped with the image and likeness of God. You go down deep enough, we're all brothers and sisters. We have that same image on our souls. To be made in the image and likeness of God also means that we're not supposed to be passive observers. Our God is not a passive observer. He is active in his creation. He's not a watchmaker God who made the watch and then has no idea what happened to it, made the world and goes away. No. He's actively involved in his creation, and he wants our active involvement as co-creators with him as well, bringing his values and his lordship to this time and this place that he has decided you and I should live in, right? There's no accidents with God. Because we are made in the image and likeness of God, we worship him. We don't worship ourselves, we worship him. And we love God, and we love our neighbor, because our God is a God of love. The Bible said God is love. When we do that, we will know in our soul that we are at home, that we're living out our life just as it's meant to be lived.